Ukraine Himars missile attack destroys Russian Wagner Group hideout barracks on New Year's Eve. A Russian military veteran agreed that the number of casualties in Makiivka was in the several hundreds. Ukraine has claimed 400 people died after a Himars attack flattened a Russian army barracks in the eastern region of the ex-Soviet state. According to early estimates, the New Year's Eve aerial attack on Makiivka could be Russia's single biggest loss of life since Vladimir Putin launched his invasion of Ukraine last February. Kyiv estimates, which indicated about 400 people died, appear to have been corroborated by some pro-Russian separatists. Kremlin backers in the region have argued that hundreds had died, according to the Telegraph. Ex-separatist commander Igor Girkin tallied the number of casualties as in the several hundreds in an update on his official Telegram account. Moscow claimed 63 men were killed in a strike against a temporary facility for Russian troops. If Russia's account is to be believed, then the death toll is significantly less than the number who perished following the sinking of Moskva. However, the count is likely to be a significant underestimation. Before releasing an update about the number killed, Ukraine's military captioned surprise in a post online as they showed what appears to be a Himars system launching a strike in the dark. Ultranationalist politicians in Russia labeled the attack as a tragedy and blamed its military for being too careless. Officials in Donetsk on Monday appeared to lament the Russian victims for giving away their location through mobile phone data. They alleged Ukraine was able to detect an unusual activity of the mobile network and location of the subscribers. The UK's Ministry of Defence, MOD, revealed that skirmishes in the last few days have focused on a key Russian supply route. In a recent intelligence update, the MOD said, over the last 5 days, Russian and Ukrainian forces have probably been fighting for control of the P-66 highway, north of the Russian-held Luhansk Oblast town of Kreminna. The P-66 is a key supply route for the northern section of Russia's Donbass front from the Belgorod region of Russia. Its use has been disrupted by Ukrainian artillery since October, but if Ukraine were able to secure the route, it would highly likely further undermine Russia's defense of Kreminna. The eastern city of Bakhmut in Donetsk has been at the epicenter of fighting for months as Russian forces continue to heavily shell the area. Russia is unlikely to achieve a significant breakthrough near Bakhmut in the foreseeable future because Ukraine has committed significant reinforcements to the area, according to the British Ministry of Defence. The eastern city in Donetsk Oblast has been surrounded both by Wagner Group forces, part of a mercenary outfit fighting in Ukraine outside of the chain of command of the Russian armed forces, and the Donetsk People's Republic, a pro-Russian paramilitary organization also known for its brutality, but any prospects of capturing the area have been thwarted. The MOD suggested that both sides have suffered high casualties and that, as a consequence, Russian assaults have likely reduced from the peak in mid-December. The British MOD, in their daily update, wrote, in mid-December, Russian military and Wagner proxy forces likely increased the frequency of their infantry assaults around the Donetsk Oblast town of Bakhmut. However, many of these operations were poorly supported. Over the last 10 days, Ukraine has committed significant reinforcements to defend the sector, and the frequency of Russian assaults have likely reduced from the peak in mid-December. Both sides have suffered high casualties. Russian offensive operations in the area are now likely being conducted at only platoon or section level. It is unlikely Russia will achieve a significant breakthrough near Bakhmut in the coming weeks. Wagner Group forces have for months stationed themselves on the outskirts of Bakhmut, intent on claiming the city. Capturing the region would afford the soldiers a base upon which to launch attacks on the city of Kramatorsk and Slavyansk further north. but the operational costs of the prolonged and brutal fighting, as a result of which the front line has moved merely a matter of meters, likely will undermine any gains made by Russian forces, according to military analysis. The Institute for the Study of War, which uses satellite imagery to document the daily battlefield developments, suggested the area would be of little operational benefit to Putin now. They wrote, the costs associated with 6 months of brutal, grinding and attrition-based combat around Bakhmut far outweigh any operational advantage that the Russians can obtain from taking it. As the most severe winter conditions have set in, with chances of survival following a gunshot wound significantly reduced in the cold temperatures, Ukraine appears to have overcome the worst of the Wagner group attacks. Russian oligarch Yevgeny Prigozhin, who runs the Wagner Group, admitted this week that Ukrainian forces have now heavily fortified the residential area around Bakhmut, creating a new line of defense every 10 meters. Spokesperson for Ukraine's Eastern Group of Forces Colonel Serhiy Cherevity also added on Monday that Russia appears to have reduced its rate of shelling in the face of dwindling supplies. Nonetheless, attempts to take Bakhmut are still ongoing, with the city still a priority target for the Russian missile strikes, according to Mr. Cherevity. And the Ukrainian General Staff reported on Monday that Ukrainian forces repelled Russian ground attacks in multiple areas around the city. Russian forces were fought back in areas north of Bakhmut near Krasnohora, northeast of Bakhmut near Soldar, Bilohorivka, Rozdalivka, and Bakhmutsky, south of Bakhmut near Ozaryanivka, and southwest of Bakhmut near Klishchivka.